few weeks ago now, we got the last few kits that actually took us to the end of the most recent roadmap that we had for The Sims 4. So the Sims community cogs are turning. People are expecting, hopefully, a new roadmap either this week or next week, potentially. However, I am thinking maybe we will have to put up until the end of May, because it could cover from June and then the next 3 months after that. But with those kits coming out, we got the restoration workshop kit, and there has actually been a few pieces of custom content and mods that have actually caught my eye that kind of fix some issues that came with the restoration workshop kit. I have a feeling that eventually we'll get an official patch that is going to add a couple of these, because I do feel like one item in particular in that kit currently isn't working the way that they maybe wanted it to. So the first piece is an add-on. You do actually need the restoration workshop kit for this to work, so please do keep that in mind. But this is by SixamCC. Expands the workshop kit, perfect for giving your Sims garage, workshop, or makerspace even more life and realism. So there are 6 clutter objects that were previously kind of shipped on top of other stuff or like with other stuff, and Sixam has gone in and kind of taken those away from those pieces, added appliance slots to both the workshop shelf tall and the workshop shelf short. My word, that is a tongue twister. Now this is the one that I have a feeling they're actually gonna fix this officially. Like, this will probably turn up in a laundry list some time down the line, especially considering a laundry list just dropped talking about one of the previous kits that we had and the toilet not working correctly. It is showing that they are wanting to fix these items. The Craft Master Toolkit and the Tool Titan have some functionality, so the reason why I'm focusing on the workshop kit is because in my eyes the kitchen clutter was kind of perfect. I sort of loved like all the little details that they added in. For example, if you have cottage living, being able to order groceries from the grocery bag, and you can also eat cookies from the cookie jar. I just think those little bits of like added, not even gameplay, but just to kind of make your kitchen flow easier, being able to have cereal from the cereal boxes, that is so nice. And I kind of wish that they had done this themselves, but it's now available here, so you can purchase upgrade parts directly from those objects. Clutter Trinker's table is now a woodworking table, which is something that I personally wanted to see. It was wild to get these kits back to back and kind of see what the kitchen clutter did so well that the restoration workshop just pretty much ignored. This is everything that is included in that set by Sixam. So these are the 6 kind of objects. You've got just some boxes, and these all come in like the colors that you expect them to come in to kind of complement this kit. Then we also have this, which I will say all of these seem to have a little glitch around them. Not to polygon shame anyone, but the only one that looks, I think, the way that it's maybe supposed to is this one right here. Then we have these like extra wood blocks in this little bucket going on this little storage container. We have these little toolboxes, this like paint and also like oil caps and kitchen roll. I have found out since owning a car, you need kitchen roll whenever you do anything with a car, because your hands are gonna get mucky no matter what you're doing. Even if you're just putting in the windscreen wash, just have some kitchen roll with you. There's also these blueprint beginnings, and then this is obviously the mini toolbox that now has some functionality. And then we have this right here. Again, this one has some functionality. I know it looks exactly the same as the one that came with it. Like, most of this does look exactly the same, but they have been fixed up a little bit. So here you have the cluttered workshop that wasn't really like a workshop table, and this is the plain variant of it. And then you have these these two counters, which now work as counters. Just to show you how this kit does in fact work, we've obviously got this up on this little shelving unit now. These also work as kitchen counters, so if you do want to make just more of an industrial kitchen with these, you now can. If you want them in a bathroom or anything like that, you will actually be able to put stuff on top of them, which is delightful. And then we can also go and, I'm fairly sure, restore this one. You can work on both of these, and you can also move this about, which is quite nice, because I'm fairly sure, no, we can't actually put it into the inventory, but we can, for example, take it from this counter, and once it's fixed up, we can go just put it on the kitchen counter, like straight away. For some reason, we can't move this one. I don't know if that's just because it's like maybe got a shelf above it or something. Ooh, sure, you can unlock that little skill perk, and then we can go craft furniture. We're gonna go make a cheeky little bar stool. Again, this now just works like a regular woodworking table, which I love to see. I would like to see updated woodworking even more. I would love to see different polishes, different wood stains, different furniture, like especially now that we have heirlooms. I swear I'm not going to go on about it too much, but I am still sad that it's not here, and genuinely this feels like the perfect time for them to release it with businesses and hobbies, and also this new kit, but that's beside the point. And then with this trolley, you can purchase upgrade parts. You can purchase all the parts that you personally have available in your game. If you don't have Discover University, you're obviously not going to have the robot salvage parts. You will just have these 4 base game ones, but super handy. And then finally, this little toolbox over here also allows you to purchase upgrade parts. Look at this little grey hair. What the hell are they doing? I feel like I should have my own little workshop. I would love a jewelry workshop. Ring making stuff, expensive hobby to have indeed. Not just like buying a gemology table in the Sims 4 and being able to do it. Love that, love the functionality, love that I don't have to purchase parts on the computer the whole time. And I'm always the type of person that needs to get more upgrade parts. I use them actually an awful lot. Handiness, one of my favorite skills in The Sims 4, if I'm going to be honest. Next up, we have this garage and storage pack from Max 20 Reserve. This is over on their Patreon. I will actually leave links to every single mod and custom content like pack that I'm talking about in this video in the description down below, considering there's only like 3 of them. Obviously, these cars aren't technically super usable. You can click on the cars and then you can select travel and it will load up the map in The Sims 4, but if you've ever wanted like more realistic looking cars than, you know, a sized up toy car, then this could be a good pack for you. It also comes with some garage doors. Technically, they're not actually doors. They're classed as windows in the game. They don't open. They're not functional like a door. They do just kind of stay shut like the ones that we have in City Living. Max kind of has just some photos showing off how your garages can look. There's also some more beat up cars. There is actually a storage box. I think this only may work if you have eco lifestyle. I think that's where the functionality of like these chests in the game actually came from, but don't quote me on that. I mean, a lot of these, whilst the colors aren't an exact match, the red, the blue, and the green do very much like look like they could fit in with this kit that we just got from The Sims. Maybe if you don't want to pick up the restoration workshop, but you're like, actually, I could just get this for free over on Max's, then feel free to do so. There's this like little metal wall shelf. There's also these freestanding shelves. There's a clear one and a full one. And I will say the storage on these bad boys is actually really good. I absolutely adore this when it comes to custom content creators, but I feel like they add so many available like places for things to sit on shelves, which is something we don't get very often officially within the game. Then again, there is this like storage tool unit which comes in very similar colors. I think the green is probably the most different when it comes to these two. This is more of like a forest green. This is kind of more of like a jewel toned green. It's pretty good. It's not exactly the same, but it is very similar. Then you have this little tire rack, and then you have some smaller items, some number plates over here, here, some like oil cans. We have a backboard of tools. You got 3 different tool variations, and then also just some like different size pegboards, 2 sets of parking spaces. Oh, I so wish we had skateboarding in the game. Like, imagine grinding along this rail. Stop it. I want it so bad. This little jack over here. This is actually the storage box, which can have like a ton of different like memory stuff in. I actually saw a tweet the other day. Obviously, it's a pretty old tweet, but by Coco. A little trick if you want some realism. If your Sim's house has a garage, when the family grows up or moves out, don't just put the stuff in the inventory or delete it. Stack it up in the garage so it gives some lived-in history vibes. I am quite literally probably one of the most sentimental simmers. I can't believe I have never ever thought of doing this. Props to you, Coco, because this is great. I'm gonna be absolutely using this idea from now on. And this kind of just shows off like those little memories kind of stacked up in here. They could be photo albums, they could just be like random items that maybe you aren't using right now. And again, you can put stuff in here because it has its own little inventory if you have eco lifestyle. We have these little storage containers. These actually do stack similar to the ones that came in the kit. A paint can, a little toolbox, and then also a taller version of the box, which again, these all stack on top of each other, so you can have these stacked up in your garage. When it comes to functionality on these, there's not like loads of functionality. Obviously, this does work as a counter, which is more than we can say for the official restoration workshop one, but you can just view an awful lot of these. You can actually label these, which is quite nice. So if you do have like a garage space or like an attic space, maybe you don't particularly want to use like the decoration box in Seasons because you can't really dictate what is in that inventory, so you maybe want to call these decorations, and then you can just hit that, and then you can hover over it, it'll say decorations, and then if I had anything that resembled a decoration, I could drag it into that. And then you can also put this in your inventory. So it kind of works like the lunch boxes that we are used to seeing in The Sims 4. But yeah, apart from that, we obviously also have the cars. I have 2 of them out right now. This is kind of more like the family car going on holiday. And then this is, you know, in their golden years, they've kind of saved up for an Audi TT. They like taking it out for a little spin on the weekends. My dream car, by the way. My mother's dream car, and she has passed that on to me. But other cars are included in this custom content pack, if you can afford them. We have the Olympus Sport, which I absolutely love. Look, it's a little plumb bob, which is so cute. Comes in a range of colors that you kind of expect from like a little sports car. It is nice. You got the Audi TT, you got the family car, then you got like this little, this kind of gives like Toyota, also maybe a little Honda, something like that. And then the more beat up version, not a sloppy jalopy that you can work on, which is unfortunate. I would have absolutely loved a car that we could also fix up, but Peugeot 306, you know, with the cheeky little dice in there. Like I said, not too much functionality, but you can go and travel on one of these bad boys. So let me go do that, and it will load you into the map. Obviously your sim doesn't like get in the car or anything, it's just a nice way to kind of open up the map. That is how a lot of people expect it to work in The Sims 4. However, I would expect it for your Sims to actually get in there and then be able to travel, and then also be able to like sit in there, go for driving lessons. Like, even if it's just driving around a car park or something like that, I would like to see it. Please and thank you. I want car woohoo. I want to be able to like do up your car, like put upgrades to it, which I always think is going to be a thing in The Sims 4. They love adding upgrades to things when they can. But yeah, a lot of this is just decoration when it comes to Max's kit. But like I said, either a nice free version if you maybe don't want to pick up the restoration workshop, but obviously you don't have that gameplay with it, but you can supplement it with obviously the base game woodworking table that we already have, and any broken fridge can technically be dragged into a garage and you can repair it. So I'm not saying that this restoration workshop kit is like groundbreaking, because trust me, I don't think it is. And then finally, this is a mod that I talked about in my businesses and hobbies, like must-have mods. This is by Smartsfield. I get really annoyed with eco lifestyle. I absolutely love diving for deals. I love that you can deck out your home in things that you have found whilst dumpster diving. However, you can't actually like fix up those objects or like repair those objects without having the smog machine, which is like a reward in like a quite a high level. I think it's like level 6 maybe in one of the careers in eco lifestyle. And to me, that never really made sense because, like, you shouldn't have to be in a career to be able to fix up that furniture. I would prefer it if you could fix it up using the woodworking table, especially maybe for those, like, smaller objects, or you can, like, repair it. But this is object restoration. I was annoyed when the only way to salvage, burn, destroy objects in the pack was by replacing it or having the smog vacuum. Now when the object is destroyed either by fire, the elements, because thunderstorms can also do this if you have seasons, or found in a dumpster, your sim can clean the object so it reverts to a functional state without the need for the elusive smog vacuum or simoleons. So you can now just use the clean interaction. Like I said, I would much prefer a repair and then have your sim like work on their handiness, because personally to me that feels like a little bit more realistic, but for the time being, this is great. Someone actually said, I mentioned this in a video that I've already spoken about, thinking about woodworking station, love that idea as well. And Smartsfield actually replied with, I was thinking of introducing some kind of payment like with bits and pieces for eco lifestyle. Wanted to keep it base game friendly though. I'll keep thinking of the concept and hopefully update soon. I do also really like this, like a payment kind of system. If you do have upgrade parts or bits and pieces, I guess you could do it with upgrades considering they are technically part of base game. So maybe for a bed you need like 10 upgrade parts, but for something smaller you maybe only need to use like 2 upgrade parts. There's also the consideration of expanding the functionality to catch scratches as well, because they can mess up furniture. We do actually have a little dumpster. I'm hoping that we can maybe get some dirty old furniture to fix up, please. Oh, nope, that is a die, which technically we can just put straight back into there. Ooh, we found a sofa. So then if we go into build mode, our little sofa should be in our household inventory. I'm going to put this over here. I know we're working with a very small space in this garage. Usually only replace 400 simoleons would be there, but now we can clean it. Again, I would love to see a repair version that actually like gets up your sim's handiness skill. I don't know if that's a possibility, but now we have a nice little piece of furniture that we managed to find and restore. And I think that's pretty sick. Doesn't really have much to do with this, considering it doesn't really use the woodworking table. But I figure, hey, if we can restore the objects that came in the new kit, then we can also throw in restoring furniture from one of my favorite pieces of gameplay, which is, of course, the dumpster diving. So there we have it. There's some mods and custom content that help supplement, fix, and also just expand the gameplay kind of the restoration workshop kit, because it definitely did feel like it was lacking a little bit in my eyes. Surprisingly, I preferred kitchen clutter, which is shocking because I never ever really prefer the clutter kits over like those bigger objects that actually feel like they're filling out a space. However, I will say I did quite like workshop restoration. I quite like having handiness. I like working on it. I've already spoken about that. And I definitely think it also may be hinting perhaps to the fact that we could be getting cars at some point in the near future of The Sims 4. I genuinely wouldn't be shocked at this point with the amount of times they've had like the travel van in surveys and a mechanic like career in surveys, and also they've added petrol stations into like so many worlds recently. I genuinely wouldn't be shocked if it's coming in like the next year. But I will of course leave all of these links down below. All of these sets are available for the public right now, so you aren't gonna have to like subscribe to anyone's Patreon. However, if you want to support custom content creators instead of maybe purchasing kits, obviously I am never gonna be against that. I'm always here for supporting small independent custom content creators. I appreciate you all so much, and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye now.